This is Think Tank. I'm Jarrel. Welcome to all of you in Trinidad and Tobago and around the world. The problem faced by law enforcement to balance service on the one hand, while maintaining peace and safety on the other, is a problem worldwide. A 2024 Thomson Reuters article listed community relations as one challenge among many faced by law enforcement agencies. Poor community relations, which can be affected by poor customer service, is premised on trust. Without trust, cooperation and collaboration are difficult. Here's what I think. To ensure trust, we need to consider better customer service delivery. Our poor service culture in Trinidad and Tobago has translated into poor service delivery within the TTPS. I referenced the example earlier this year in my column when a TTPS officer went viral for her telephone etiquette, which left much to be desired. The voice recording of the telephone call substantiated what we probably all know. Some, if not most, TTPS officers lack the necessary customer service skills. It could be down to the belief that they do not see their profession as part protection, part service. This is a problem not unique to Trinidad and Tobago. Researchers in England have pointed to a need to market the British police from a force to a service, as if to emphasize where the focus should lie. The necessity of proper service delivery has been recently highlighted by Deputy Commissioner of Police Operations, Junior Benjamin, who noted the importance of customer service to community partnership between the people and the police. In July 2024, the TTPS launched the Customer Service Unit within the police division. This has been a long time coming, as the TTPS has been for a long time now coming up short with how it provides service to the people. The hope is that this customer service unit will be sensitive, kind, responsive, and above all, empathetic to the plight of law-abiding citizens. Indeed, if the TTPS is to succeed in its fight against crime, it must rely on the communities that officers are called to serve. This unit will only be successful if regular and mandatory service training is carried out and conducted by qualified personnel. Everyone can benefit from proper service. Here with me today is David West, Director of the Police Complaints Authority. Let's get started. David, talk to us about current things with the PCA so far, a breakdown of complaints, and what is the most often category that you see coming across?
Sure. Good morning, Jarrel, and good morning to your listeners and everybody tuned in. Now, the Police Complaints Authority, let me just let people understand, is an independent civilian oversight body looking at criminal offenses involving police officers, serious police misconduct, and police corruption. Okay, so we get complaints from the public, and our complaints for the offenses are broken down into disciplinary offenses, where if our evidence shows that an offense has been committed, we'll go to the Commissioner of Police, and criminal offenses, which will go to the DPP if we think an offense has been committed. So, for example, for the period 1st of January 2024 to the 15th of August 2024, the most cited complaint has been neglect of duty, where we've had 268 officers complained about. Secondly, discreditable conduct with 31% or 224 police officers. And then unlawful or unnecessary exercise of authority, which had 118 complaints against police officers, or 16%. And then we have disobedience to orders, corrupt practices, falsehood of prevarication, etc. For the criminal offenses now, for the same time period, the 1st of January to the 24th, 1st of January to the 15th of August, we have assault, okay, being the most prevalent offense in criminal offenses of 93 officers, or 39%. Then damage to property, where what happens is that officers many times when they go in to execute a search warrant, or they break down and they destroy the person's property. So that can be a criminal offense if not done properly. That was 21 officers, And then you had firearm offenses of 14 officers. And then so you had police involved shootings of 18. You had 18 officers who complained about for that time period. And then we have other offenses where we had quite a large number of categories. So other offenses are, for example, breach of a protection order, dangerous driving, driving under the influence, failure to report an accident, kidnapping, killing, or wounding, misbehavior in public office. So it's quite high. So we've had, out of the other offenses in the criminal matters, we had 58 officers being complained about for misbehavior in public office, 5 officers of obscene language, 5 for careless driving. In assaults, we've had 47 for summary assault. That is assault by beating. That's where the officer actually physically hits somebody. Harassment, 20 number of officers. Common assault, that is putting somebody in fear of violence, for example, pointing a gun at them, 20 officers, 15 officers. Okay. And then malicious damage to property, we've had 21 officers for the year. So far, larceny, that's stealing items, that's 16 complaints. Shooting with intent, 12. Discharging a firearm within 40 meters of a road, 2. That's 14. Perverting the course of justice, 7. Rape, we've had 1 officer being reported for rape. Fatal and non-fatal police shootings. We have 18, as I said, we have had 18 officers being investigated. Non-fatal shootings, 12, total 30 for the period. And death or serious bodily harm, we've had murder 7, attempted murder 1, conspiracy to murder 1, manslaughter 1, and equals 10. So we've seen so far for the year until August 15th, we've been quite busy with those investigations.
Mm-hmm. In terms of the link between proper service and trust, so the way that officers carry out their duty and the trust that could be eroded or improved between the public, how do you see that playing out, that dynamic?
Well, for example, many times people call and say, I'm being robbed, or there's a nuisance happening, or something, some manner. And the police officers would say, well, I don't have a vehicle. We have all the vehicles are out. I'll come back to it. Those things tend to erode the public trust and confidence in the police in dealing with issues. So people want to, response time is very important when it comes to the public wanting to trust the police, that if they call them, they would come in a reasonable time. So that's trust. So for example, you saw recently where the 6 persons were shot by the police. Police were happy with that because an alleged robbery had just taken place, and they found items, allegedly found items in the vehicle belonging to the robbery. So people were very happy, and it's all over social media that the police were doing a good job, and they're happy with that. But then on the other hand, when police take a long time to respond, you get on social media again, how the police are taking a long time to respond. So the police must have that response time in order to gain that trust, in the public.
Yeah, and that consistency that you're pointing out, or the inconsistency rather, in terms of responsiveness. From your time that you came in as director, there were around 250 complaints, and it's skyrocketing. So in terms of this increase, what are some of the things that you can discuss with the public in terms of the reasons for this? Is it just social media and fueling more reporting? What are some reasons for this increase in the complaints?
Yeah, and that's a good question, Jarrel, because since I've come in to now, we have done a lot of outreach in throughout Trinidad and Tobago. We have done outreach. We have tried to educate the public on what we do and how we go about doing it. So we're trying to explain to the public that we are a civilian-based organization, okay? We do not charge, arrest, or prosecute the police officers, but what we do is we investigate. So they have an independent investigation where many times persons sometimes sue the police officers for whatever offense, whatever matters. They sue them in civil court. And what happens is that sometimes our evidence is used and the judges rely on our independent evidence to let them come to a decision. So that's a very important factor of how we are benefiting the public by coming to the PCA and making a complaint. Now, what we have also done, and it has worked very well, is we have an app, all right, where you can download it to your iOS or Android phone, and you could make a complaint from home. You can attach a video, you could attach recordings, and you could even attach your statement to the app, and it will come to us. So I have some figures here for you. So from October 2017, when it was launched, to August 2024, it is iOS matters. We've had 665 iOS complaints made via app. For the Android, which is of course a more popular phone, for the same period, October 2017 to August 2024, we've had 5,080 complaints. In the iOS, for January to August 2024, we've had 54 complaints so far. In the Android, January to August 2024, we've had 178. So the total reports recorded from by the app from October to present is 8,193. So you see, by that means of us being able to reach, or people being able to reach the PCA, has greatly have greatly powered the public. We empower the public to make complaints very easily against the police. They don't have to come in by us physically. They can just download it and they can send an email, or they can do the app or phone or call in a complaint. So we have become more accessible. And we saw this during the COVID time, where our app was very much used, because of course you couldn't come in, but persons were able to download or report matters via the app during COVID. And this is what we're trying to do. We're trying to be more reachable by the public. So we have an office in Tobago, and of course you could go to the app. We have officers going across every 2 weeks to Tobago to carry out investigations for Tobago matters, and we have officers in Trinidad also doing the investigations. So we are now, a household name. People now know what the PCA is. Before, when I came in 2014, they weren't too sure, but persons now understand what the PCA does and what we are about. And it has given them a level of confidence that they can come in and make a complaint and they can get some sort of redress or some sort of closure to the matter. Because many times a complaint is closed because insufficient evidence, the complainant has just forgotten about it, we can't locate him, the phone number they've given has gone dead and there's no foreign address, etc. So it is a way that both the public and the police can feel safe that they will get an independent investigation from our investigation of the matter against them.
Yeah. With that visibility, are you, and even as an independent body, do you bring those numbers to the police service and say, what is going on here? Do you have any kind of interaction with the police service to sort of find some mediation for those spiking complaints and how the service is dealing with the public?
Yeah, I mean, if in our annual report, which is, of course, you can download our annual report on our www.pca.org.tt, we also give advice. We render advice to the police commissioner, and the advice is taken on board. It is used. So we give advice to the police on how they can better manage complaints against them, and so it's a type of mediation. It's a softer approach because we may not find the evidence reaching that level of making a complaint or it going forward, but we can give advice how it shouldn't happen again. For example, simple thing like speaking to customer service, speaking to the public is very important. If you're giving a ticket to somebody, you do it in a nice, in a manly way. You don't do it in an aggressive way. So we try to work with the police like that,
Yeah. And within those recommendations, what are some of the most urgent things that you think might make the TTPS function more effectively on the service side and how they deal with the public?
Simple things. When persons come in to make a complaint, there's the one door policy in the police service. where if you make a complaint against something that happened to you in San Fernando, but the actual complaint happened in Port of Spain, you can still make the complaint in San Fernando, and the officers in San Fernando have to take it and then send that complaint to Port of Spain. But many times they're still not using that mechanism, and they say, well, no, you have to go to Port of Spain to make the complaint. Whereas that's not true. You can make a complaint anywhere in any police station that something happened to you in any part of the country. It's simple, all right? Again, customer service, how police officers speak to persons, you know. I mean, simple thing, for example, you know, they have to be able to use their discretion. You know, instead of giving them, you know, traffic tickets now, impose a heavy penalty of $1,000 or 3 demerit points. You know, if they are in an area where prima facie they're breaking the law, but they aren't. You know, it's not a bad infraction, or they're not blocking traffic or whatever. The police officer can simply say, listen, can you move along? And, you know, otherwise I'll have to give you a ticket. And once they move along, then that's fine. It's end of the matter. It saves court time. It saves a lot of time. So, you know, the police have to understand how to use their discretion. Now, of course, if the person is being rude in the car and he's carrying on and making a scene, well, by all means, give him the ticket. But if you know a one-off warning and he moves along, well, fair enough, you know, use your discretion. You know, so these simple personal touches, I think, you know, you say that to serve with pride, that's important. Pride is an important word that the police service have in their motto, you know, and they must pride themselves in, you know, doing the best that they can do for the public. I mean, as you said, they are police service. We're not a force. We're not an army. They are service. So they must render service to the persons in Trinidad and Tobago.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about body cams, because for some time it's been a contentious thing. Even the police commissioner has struggled with ensuring this. So my first question is, can it be a game changer for ensuring proper conduct with the public, but also for the police officers? And should we entertain the reluctance that officers have about wearing them?
First of all, the body cameras is a big game changer in Trinidad and also throughout the Caribbean and Jamaica, for example. And I'll show you an article from Jamaica relating to body cameras. But we see in the US and in Canada and England, body cameras are norm. It's nothing to be afraid of. Body cameras can, yes, catch an officer in an infraction, but it can also exculpate a police officer where the allegations are made falsely against him. Body cameras are small, they're efficient. Our own investigators have body cameras, right? We have purchased body cameras for our investigators to use when they go out on the field. And it's a simple device. And the body cameras we have, the battery life lasts a long time, more than 16 hours. You can play it back, and there's so many things you can do with a body camera. And as I've said, in none of our police involved shootings for a year, or even before, have we had any video evidence from a body camera. Now that can tell you what transpired and took place. Body cameras, I mean, the shooting that took place in Sealots, where that was the police officers were going after somebody who shot a police officer, which they feared in Belmont earlier that night, and they have all right to do that, would have known that person would have been a violent man or could have had a firearm. Why didn't they, when they sent out the officers to go and look for the person, put on their body cameras before they went out, have a briefing, put on the body cameras and gone there looking for the gentleman with their body cameras on? Then, because we have a whole set of conflicting reports about what transpired with that matter, and I won't go into the evidence, but there are conflicting reports between the civilians who have made reports and the police officers of what transpired. So we need body cameras. For example, I was telling you in Jamaica, even in Jamaica, the article in the Trinidad Express dated the 9th of August 24, Jamaica is also clamoring for body cameras. The quotation is getting body cameras done. INDICOM, which is like the PCA, has consistently complained that it was never able to acquire video footage from the police or any of their encounters with citizens. We have the same problem here, right? According to Hamish Campbell, from the deputy head of the INDICOM, not one of the 119 police killings for the first 10 months of 2023 had body cameras been worn. there is a departmental order stipulating that police officers must wear body cameras when they're out on duty. Why is that not followed? Why is there no accountability to the officers that don't put on the body cameras? The commissioner of police must step up and do something about it. The government has provided them with the body cameras. They have spent a lot of money on the body cameras. They have more body cameras coming in. My hope is that the police officers start wearing the body cameras. Body cameras are not, it's not a rocket science device. You turn it on and you attach it to your jacket or your clothing, and you go out and do your job. It doesn't hamper you in any way, form, or fashion. So, and it's also tamper-proof. So, so there's no allegation that the officers did X or Y against the body camera. So it's a win-win situation for everybody. It is so simple. I cannot believe that we are still talking about police officers not wearing body cameras in this day and age.
David, if it's so simple, where's the breakdown happening? Where's the breakdown in communication and the hierarchy?
Well, it's the breakdown in the police service. The police service is a hierarchy. They have corporals, the inspectors, the assistant commissioner of police, the commissioner of police. If you give an order, it must be followed. If the order is not followed, there must be a sanction against the police officer for not following the order. It's simple as that. It's up to the police service to do that.
In terms of short, medium, and long-term initiatives that you are currently maybe spearheading or in discussions with to ensure or to at least help police performance and regain that trust in some capacity, can you let us in on anything that the PCA wants to implement or are currently in discussions with?
Well, I can tell you body cameras is a short-term fix for everybody, assist my investigators in determining whether or not the matter should move forward. Because look, if you have a body camera and it's on, and you have a person pointing a firearm at a police officer, he doesn't even have to shoot. You can just point a firearm at the officer, and the officer shoots back. That's the end of the investigation. I don't have to go and get postmortem report. I don't have to go and get CCTV footage. I have everything right there to make a determination that this matter is not going to go anywhere because of what transpired. So it saves on my time. It saves on the police time, because the police officer now has to go. Well, he should have to undergo evaluation, whether or not he can go back on his job right away, because it is traumatic to shoot somebody. I can imagine it is traumatic. So all of that, and also with the weight of having known that there's an investigation pending over his head, he gets him confused, or cloud his vision, or whatever it is. If that can be done within a week and you're absolved within a week, isn't that better for everybody? So body cameras, accountability, the police service must be accountable. They're not a law unto themselves. They must be accountable for their actions. All right. And one of the issues that happen is that once we give our referral to the DPPS Commissioner of Police when we say a law has been broken, that action by them must take place within a reasonable time also. It cannot go on for years and people just forget about it, or people get frustrated by it, because it's difficult to have an allegation hanging over your head. No one wants an allegation to be hanging over their head for years. So the sooner it is finished, the more efficient PCA, DPP, COP, and the police officer himself would run. And it's a win-win for, as I said, for everybody. So my medium and short-term and long-term goals are simple: body cameras and accountability. It's not difficult to achieve. It's low-hanging fruit, in my view, to achieve.
My final question, David: what is the relationship of the PCA with the TTPS and the maybe even the Commissioner of Police? What's the relationship like? Do you meet often? What kinds of things you can tell us about the discussion that you might be having?
We talk. We do talk on matters that happen. I don't want to divert but yeah. There is communication, and with the Commissioner of Police and other officers too, who I can tell you, there's a matter that happened in a part of Trinidad, and there was a complaint made against the officer that had broken down some doors. And the complainants were not getting redressed to get the doors fixed. I spoke to the officer in charge of the area. He said, yes, we'll assist in that. It took some time, but through dialogue, they were able to get their doors back, and it was fixed. And so there are other matters where I get involved, and I talk to the persons in charge of the divisions, and I have a very good relationship with. I say most officers I call, they respect the office. Let's put it that way. It's not me; they respect the office, and very polite conversations happen. And I have to call often, yes, but that's not because of their inaction. It's just bureaucracy of getting things done. And unfortunately, it takes a long time, but it will get done eventually. And I'm very happy for that cooperation. And as I said, there is cooperation. Now, sometimes they are the younger officers who may not appreciate the relationship with the PCA, and they may give a little static. But once I speak with them or their superiors, it goes away. So I have that ability to go and speak with the police officers to explain our position. And sometimes they don't agree, sometimes they agree. So we have that, respect for each other to be able to communicate on a professional basis and get things done. I mean, if you take away all these shootings in the last police-involved shootings in the last 2 or 3 months, the police service, for disciplinary matters, they have not been, I would say, it has not been bad. There have been the normal complaints against misbehavior in public office, larceny, abuse of power, and these neglect of duty things. But there's nothing startling or nothing standing out. It happened through any organization. So the police, it can get better. It will get better. I'm hoping through the work of the PCA, it does get better through our advice notices that we issue to them. They will take it on board, and everybody will see us going forward together.
The PCA definitely has an important role because if the TTPS functions better, then we all can benefit from that, police officers and the public. David, I want to thank you for being part of our think tank.
Not a problem. Thank you very much, and I wish you all the best and have a good day.
And to everyone watching and listening, continue to stay tuned for more episodes.